For decades, humans believed they had already found the largest migration on Earth. We pointed to whales crossing oceans, birds circling the planet, herds stretching for miles. We filmed them, tracked them, named them. We were confident, but the truth is harder to accept. The largest migration on Earth was never horizontal. It was never visible, and it never involved whales at all. It happens every single night, beneath the surface, beyond our sight. So, what if the biggest movement of life on this planet was happening right under us? For most of modern science, migration meant distance. Animals moving from one place to another, crossing borders, oceans, and continents. The farther they traveled, the more impressive the journey seemed. That is why whales became the perfect symbol. Blue whales cross entire ocean basins. Humpback whales travel more than 8,000 kilometers between feeding and breeding grounds. Their movements are slow, predictable, and easy to follow from the surface. They were visible, and visibility shaped our conclusions. Early marine biology was built around ships, surface nets, and daylight observations. Scientists studied what they could reach. For a long time, the ocean below a few hundred meters might as well have been another planet. Cameras failed. Pressure crushed equipment. Light disappeared. Research stayed near the surface, where the sea looked calm and empty between migrations. But that emptiness was an illusion. As technology improved, researchers began lowering sonar instruments and echo sounders deeper into the water. Instead of single animals, these tools revealed entire layers of life. Dense bands of moving biomass appeared on screens, stretching for hundreds of kilometers and rising and falling in unison. At first, scientists assumed the equipment was malfunctioning. The signals were too large, too consistent, and too widespread to make sense. Yet the patterns repeated. Every night, the same thing happened. Shortly after sunset, massive layers of living organisms began to rise from the deep ocean toward the surface. Not hundreds, not thousands, trillions. Tiny animals, many no bigger than a fingernail, moving together as one. At dawn, they sank back into darkness, vanishing from view just as completely as they had appeared. This movement wasn't seasonal. It wasn't regional. It happened every single day across nearly every ocean on Earth. Scientists eventually realized they were looking at something far larger than any whale migration. In terms of sheer living mass, this daily movement dwarfed every known journey on land or sea. The combined weight of these organisms is estimated to be several times greater than all the whales in the ocean combined. And unlike whales, this migration doesn't leave trails, routes, or landmarks. It leaves almost no visible trace at the surface. The animals involved are mostly small, lanternfish with glowing sides, krill drifting in vast clouds, shrimp-like crustaceans, and gelatinous creatures with nearly transparent bodies. Individually, they seem insignificant. Together, they form the largest movement of life on the planet. Some species rise hundreds of meters each night. Others travel more than a vertical kilometer, swimming from near total darkness to the edge of moonlight and back again. This journey is dangerous. Near the surface, predators wait. Tuna, squid, seabirds, and whales time their feeding to match this daily ascent. In the deep, pressure is crushing and temperatures hover just above freezing. These animals survive by slowing their metabolism, compressing their bodies, and using faint bioluminescent flashes to communicate without revealing their shape. For decades, we watched whales migrate above this living tide and assumed we were seeing the main event. In reality, whales are responding to it. Their routes, feeding patterns, and even their diving behavior are shaped by this nightly rise of prey from the deep. The largest migration on Earth was never something we could watch from a ship's deck. It was happening below the reach of light, below the limits of our instruments, and below our assumptions. And once scientists realized what they were seeing, it forced a simple and uncomfortable truth. We were measuring migration the wrong way. Once scientists understood what they were looking at, the scale of the discovery became impossible to ignore. This wasn't a rare event or a regional curiosity. It was a planetary movement. Every night across the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Southern Oceans, a living layer rose from the deep like a slow-motion tide. Sonar images showed it clearly. A thick band of life lifting hundreds of meters upward after sunset, then sinking again before sunrise. Researchers began calling it the largest migration on Earth, not because of distance, but because of mass. The numbers were unsettling. Estimates suggest that the total biomass involved in this daily movement outweighs all whales, seals, sharks, and large fish combined. Some scientists believe it may be the single largest movement of living matter on the planet, repeated every 24 hours. And it happens almost entirely out of sight. The reason is fear. Near the surface, light means death. During the day, sunlight turns the upper ocean into a hunting ground. Visual predators dominate there. So these small animals wait. They stay deep, where darkness keeps them hidden, and pressure keeps most hunters away. When night falls, they rise to feed on microscopic plankton near the surface, close enough to gather energy, but never long enough to feel safe. By dawn, they sink again, retreating into the cold, crushing dark. This constant movement reshapes the ocean itself. As these animals feed near the surface and then return to depth, they carry carbon with them in their bodies and in their waste. This process, known as the biological pump, helps lock enormous amounts of carbon deep in the ocean for centuries. Without this migration, Earth's atmosphere would likely hold far more carbon dioxide, and global temperatures would be significantly higher. The planet's climate depends on creatures most people will never see. Their bodies are built for this journey. Lanternfish, one of the most common participants, have soft bones and flexible tissues that tolerate pressure changes. Many species reduce their metabolism during the day, conserving energy in the deep. Some are nearly transparent, their organs arranged to minimize shadows. Others produce faint, bioluminescent light to confuse predators below them, glowing just enough to erase their outline rather than reveal it. For years, this migration was invisible because our tools were blind to it. Early cameras saw nothing but darkness. Nets passed through these layers without capturing their full density. It was not until modern sonar and deep-sea imaging became widespread that scientists could finally see the ocean moving as a whole. Footage now shows entire walls of life rising and falling like a slow, breathing organism. Suddenly, everything else made more sense. Whales time their dives to intersect this rising layer. Squid wait at specific depths where the migration passes. Seabirds gather at dawn and dusk, feeding at the exact moment the living tide reaches the surface. Even commercial fisheries unknowingly depend on it. The ocean's food web is built around this vertical movement, and the largest animals in the sea are not leading it. They are following it. This is why whales were never the answer. They are part of the system, not the system itself. Their great journeys across oceans are guided by a deeper, older rhythm that moves straight through the water column every night, everywhere. The unsettling part is how long it took us to realize this. The largest migration on Earth was not hidden because it was small, but because it was too big to see all at once. It did not leave paths or borders. It left patterns in sound and shadow, waiting for the right tools to notice. And even now, there are depths we still cannot follow. The migration fades into darkness below 1,000 meters, beyond the reach of most cameras. Scientists know it continues, but exactly how far and how deep it truly goes remains unclear. There are still layers of the ocean moving in ways we do not fully understand, which means there is one uncomfortable thought left hanging in the water. If you want to understand what waits down there when the light disappears, you might want to follow the trail into why sperm whales become deadlier the deeper you go. And you know what to do. Press the like button and subscribe.